Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. Thank y'all to everybody that's been rocking with us tonight. We had rousing discussion in that last segment. We were talking about some random topics, and we had a lot of fun with it. And we appreciate you guys hanging out with us tonight. You folks on TuneIn and on Stream Licensing. Special thank you to the folks there. Special thank you to the folks that check us out on www.legacyinternetradio.com. A lot of love that we've been getting here lately, and just want to give you guys some news. Of course, we peaked in the last 30 days, 15,000 listeners to Legacy Internet Radio. That's you guys. That's you guys coming and supporting us and listening to our programming. On Mondays, you're listening to Ain't No Half Step on Marcus J, and on Tuesdays, Enliven Radio, Wednesdays, Joy and Body Radio, and Absolutely Alphas, and on Thursdays, All Throttle Radio, and the Woke Squad, and you got Couch Coach Live coming next month, and you've got, I Got Something to Say on Saturdays, and you've got Irreconcilable Differences with Big Rube, and you've got Twi After Dark, and you've got Lounge of Legacy also coming next month. And we're growing. 15,000 listeners, man, that's a big deal, and we appreciate you guys that are listening to the sound of my voice right now, being a part of that. And hopefully this time next year we'll be at 30,000, and then in the year after that we'll be at 100,000, and we appreciate it. It's because of y'all. That's why we keep doing this. So as long as y'all listening to us, we're going to keep doing this. Special thank you goes out to y'all. Shout out to Cousin Terry, Tavon, Michelle K, Laurel, K-Dub, SY, and a very special thank you to my pop who is checking us out tonight. So thank you to you guys. Love you guys for the support. At this time of the show, I always like to give a history moment. And I mentioned to my big brother Joe earlier on that when we do this week's history, you're going to be a little bit surprised. Well, we're going to talk about Ota Benga. Ota Benga. Ota Benga is an African native who once was kept in the Bronx Zoo. He committed suicide. In 1906, the crowds thronged the Monkey House exhibit at the Bronx Zoo. Here was the man's evolutionary ancestors: monkeys, chimpanzees, a gorilla named Dinah, an orangutan named Duhong, and an African of short stature misnomered a pygmy named Ota Benga. Ota Benga was brought from the Belgian Congo in 1904 by noted African explorer Samuel Werner, along with other pygmies, and displayed in an exhibit in 1904 St. Louis World Fair. Ota Benga, or Bai, which means friend in his language, was born in 1881, had a height of 4 feet 11 and weighed 103 pounds. Although he was referred to as a boy, he had been married twice. White colonists had captured his first wife, and his second wife died by a snake bite. After the St. Louis exhibit, Ota found himself at the Bronx Zoo, which at the time was under the direction of Dr. William T. Hornaday, who was considered a bit eccentric. Hornaday believed animals had nearly human thoughts and personalities, and he could read the thoughts of zoo animals. He apparently saw no difference between a wild beast and a little black man, and insisted he was only offering an intriguing exhibit. The exhibit was immensely popular and controversial. The black community, of course, was outraged, and some churchmen feared that it would convince people of Darwin's theory of evolution. Under threat of legal action, Hornaday had Ota Benga leave his cage and circulate around the zoo in a white suit, but he returned to the monkey house to sleep. In time, Ota Benga began to hate being the object of curiosity. There were 40,000 visitors to the park on Sunday. Nearly every man, woman, and child of this crowd made for the monkey house to see the star attraction in the park, the wild man from Africa. They chased him around the grounds at day, howling, jeering, yelling. Some of them poked at him in the ribs, others tripped him up, all laughed at him. At one point, he got a hold of a knife and flourished it around the park. Another time, he produced a fracas after being denied a soda from the soda fountain. Finally, after fabricating a small bow and arrows and shooting at obnoxious park visitors, he had to leave the park for good. After his park experience, several institutions tried to help him. He was placed in Virginia Theological Seminary and college, but quit school to work in a tobacco factory. According to Hornaday, he did not possess the power of learning. Growing homesick, hostile, and despondent, Oda Benga borrowed a revolver and shot himself in the heart, ending his life in 1916. These are the kinds of stories that you just wouldn't know unless you go looking for them. This is a crazy, 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 crazy thing. And this is the kind of stuff we're talking about years after slavery, during Reconstruction, where they take a black man, an African black man from Africa, and put him in the monkey exhibit at a zoo. I mean, that is the craziest thing that I think I can think of. But I like to give these history pieces because I need us to know all parts of where we come from. Similar to what we talked about in that first segment, Nick, when we talked about the slave drawings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's one thing when we're talking about drawing the pictures, and we can debate how we feel about that kind of stuff. But, you know, the reality is this kind of stuff right here was going on 40, 50 years after slavery was abolished, and that's crazy. Ain't no half step on Marcus J. Live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. We're gonna go and do some house cleaning. One more thing I want to do, and then we're gonna get to the rants and closings. At this time of the show, we always profile missing and/or exploited child. Tonight's no different. We're looking for Cottrell Barksdale. He's missing since March 3rd, 2017, right here in the capital city, Richmond, Virginia. He's a 15-year-old black male with brown eyes and black hair. He stands 5'6", weighs 115 pounds. Last seen on March 3rd, 2017. He's got a chipped front tooth and a scar above his left eye. If you've seen Cottrell Barksdale, please contact the National Center for Missing and/or Exploited Children on their website, missingkids.com, or contact the Richmond City Police Department at 804-646-5125, or call 1-800-THE-LOST, 1-800-843-5678. All right, so everybody's got an opportunity to close out with their rants and their closings. Ladies first. Our sister Nick, you up first. What you got?
All right. This is your girl Neek, girl from around the way. You guys need to tune in to Legacy Internet Radio on Saturdays, where I co-host the show I've Got Something to Say with Tavon. And we air from 2:30 to 4:30 every Saturday. So please tune in. I want to extend a thank you to one of my coworkers who was there for me this week. I hope she's listening. I'm not going to say her name. She know who she is. She's my girl, and we've been rocking for a minute, and I want to thank her for being there for me. You know, it's sometimes in the workplace it's hard to find people that you can trust. So, you know, I want to thank her for getting me through and for me helping her as well. So that's pretty much what I needed to say. Yeah. And thank you. Oh, and thank you for letting me sit in.
I appreciate it. You always bring a lot to it, man. I appreciate you. You bring a lot to the show, and your fingerprints are certainly on this room. So thank you publicly. Thank you for your help in helping getting the den to the places that it's at.
So, you're welcome. Anytime.
Absolutely. Ain't no hot Stephen Marcus J. Live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. One of the pieces of the den was named after this next guy. He's our utility player. We went and actually got him some lava lamps.
Yes, we did.
There's a couch in there. You know, we have a real life Champipple room so that he can sip on his pimp juice. It's $33.75. It's time for you to close it out. What you got, man?
Man, I just want to talk about the payback off your missing children, man. Like, this human trafficking in the city is real. Like, it's crazy right now, man. Like, every time I log on to social media or anything, like, somebody is missing a child in the city, just the city of Richmond alone. Somebody's missing a child. I just need everybody to talk to their kids and, you know, show them what to do and not to do when they out there by themselves, because the human trafficking is real in the city of Richmond and throughout the world. And I want everybody to pay attention to keep your kids safe. That's what I got.
You know, I step on Marcus J. Live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. He's my big bro and yours. Big bro Joe. Close it out.
Well, I'm going to talk about something that we didn't even talk about tonight. I'm going to talk about respect. I got a situation where I have a family member who was at a certain grocery store in Virginia, right here in Richmond, Highland Springs, as a matter of fact. And her 10-year-old son told him, "Mom, I need to go to the bathroom." And he went to the restroom, but she sent her 14-year-old with him, because you never send a 10-year-old by themselves, pretty much. And they went to this restroom, and he was in there, and a white gentleman walked in, pushed the door where he was using the bathroom, and couldn't get to use the bathroom. He couldn't use the regular stall like most men do. He wanted to go into the actual stall and do whatever he needed to do or whatever. But he comes out of the bathroom, goes to the security guard in the establishment or in that grocery store, and tells the security guard that you got 2 black kids in there and they're loitering. I don't know what they're doing, but they're just standing around and they're loitering. My cousin didn't realize that something had happened until she got outside and her son started to cry. And the 14-year-old told his mom, "Hey, we were in the bathroom. He was going like you sent me to do. And this white guy was jerking on the door talking about, get out, get out, get out. What are you doing? I have to go to the bathroom. Move, move, move." And the security guard came in there and physically put them out of the bathroom, grabbed them by the back of the collar, and put them out of the bathroom. My cousin went left, which I totally understand. Folks, you better realize, don't go putting your hands on other folks' kids. Really? I mean, this is not that same era that a lot of us grew up in. I mean, everybody in this room sitting here tonight is, I think, over the age of 40. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's back when a village truly ran things, and you could get a whooping coming down the street from every house on the block.
Absolutely.
And then when you got home, you got a killing for being disrespectful or whatever. But to my understanding, the security guard got fired, but the white man who caused the issue to begin with, who was utterly wrong and totally out of pocket, it was bad because my cousin posted it on Kurt Autry's Facebook Live, on his Facebook, on Facebook. And it was another gentleman on there who, as we've said earlier, of white privilege, put a meme up there and was like, somebody just, like she was just whining, like boo hoo hoo, whatever, get over it. And it's just bad that people who don't understand the plight or who think that everybody is all the time just complaining. That wasn't something you complain about, folks. It was, if you don't know your place, then don't say anything at all, because that could become a bad situation really, really quickly. I'm just glad that my little cousin's father didn't show up, because then I'm like, yo, we'd have had to go get a GoFundMe account. Real talk.
Real.
And I'd have been the first one putting money up, because it's just ridiculous how we're treated. That's the situation where we have to make sure that we do not devalue ourselves. Folks, pay attention to what I'm saying. This is your boy, Big Bro Joe. See you on Wednesdays from 7 to 9 on Joy and Body Radio. Holla at me.
Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. You know, we're moving towards the close, moving towards the end of the show, and you know, I got to thank you, special thank you to our sister Ashley Joy, who was here earlier, and her friend. And special thank you to our sister Shayna Latia, who was here earlier. I appreciate them for coming and dropping in on us and giving us a little bit of their love. Of course, special thank you to our returning favorite, Mr. 3375. You're going to be hearing much more from him, of course. And, you know, Legacy Internet Radio, the shows came through for us tonight. Of course, we've got I Got Something to Say, Joy and Body Radio, as well as Lounge and Legacy, all kind of holding it down with me here on Ain't No Half Stepping with Marcus J tonight. So I want to just say thank you to you guys with regards to that. At this time of the show, it's time for me to close it out with my rant and my closing. And just a couple of quick things. My rants and closing is going to be quick hits. The first thing I want to get to is Legacy TV. Legacy TV debuted last Friday night on Richmond Cable Access Television, Comcast 95, and Verizon 36 to a rousing success. Our very first guest was our brother, Coach Reggie Shipp of the Capital City Reapers. Their first game was on Saturday. They won their first game 102-0.
Yes.
102-0. So we already know that they are a well-coached team, and they about to go and give the business to all of the teams in their division. So congratulations to them on their first win. Our next guest this Friday is a Legacy Internet Radio alumni, our brother AJ Brewer of Brewers Cafe. We did our live show there a couple of times, and he's going to come to the Legacy TV show and give us his rousing history of himself and how he went from someone who was a corporate America person to an entrepreneur and a community activist. So we look forward to him, and we look forward to continuing doing Legacy TV on Comcast 95 and Verizon 36 right here in Richmond, Virginia on Friday nights at 6 p.m. So thank you with regards to that. Now, you didn't think that you was going to get through a whole night of this show without hearing the name Donald Trump, did you? You didn't think that you was going to, especially after hearing what we heard today in the hearings with FBI Director Comey. Now,
did he apologize yet?
I'm not getting into any of that. I'm not going to get into any of that. But what I will say is this: we're talking about this dude. So many people love him. I can dig it. But they going to dismiss anything that Comey says, no matter what. No matter what. Basically came out and said, hey, ain't no evidence of no wiretapping. Even though they changed it up, try to make it a little bit more broad and say surveillance. But I got a thing for Donald Trump. Now I'm going to say this real quick, and I'm going to get us the hell on up out of here. This dude has come for President Obama. He's come for all of the Clintons. He's come for war hero John McCain because he was, of course, captured, and he made that out to be some sort of problem. He came for Rosie O'Donnell. He came for Arnold Schwarzenegger. Came for the media, CNN, fake news, and all of that. Came for Mexico and their president. Came for them. He came for Snoop Dogg, y'all. He was in a Twitter beef with Snoop Dogg a week ago. He came for Saturday Night Live. I mean, he comes for people. But he ain't got a crossword for a known nut like Vladimir Putin, and even hired people for his cabinet positions that have direct ties with Russia. This is the same crew who ain't got nothing to say about that all said, but her emails. They ain't got nothing to say. But I'll tell you this about Donald Trump. If he ain't nothing, he's charismatic. Even though it's only about 37% of the people that's rocking with him. Yeah, that's the poll number. Historically low poll numbers, by the way, since we only care about polls when they make our person look good. But I'm going to digress on that. While the rest of us in the world is looking at him and we're either laughing or we're very embarrassed. And you know it's bad when Donald Trump got liberals looking at George W. Bush like, he ain't so bad, is he?
Yeah.
That's the Marcus's unrelated rant. Ain't got nothing to do with what we're here talking about tonight. I can say more about Donald Trump, but I will say that I'm glad that he's president for the purposes of, and you know, have Step with Marcus, J Legacy, Internet Radio, and Legacy TV, and Legacy Media Group. You know why? Because I'm always going to have something to talk about. There you go. And I'm going to rerun this show in its entirety immediately following this upload. So if you missed our conversation about missing children in the beginning, you missed our conversation about the slave auction photos, and if you missed our conversation with K-Dub about the NBA resting players just because, or if you missed us having a random conversation about random topics, Neek told us about her first car, and Mr. 3375 told us about his favorite teacher, and Big Bro Joe told us what his favorite color was. If you missed any of that, listen to the replay in its entirety. I want to remind everybody that independence is key to building your legacy. I also want to say peace to all the stars and all of the squares. In the abundance of water, the fool is thirsty. Those are the words of Bob Marley. who you hear singing in the background. And you know how stepping with Marcus J. We'll be back right here live from the Den of Legacy Internet Radio next week. Peace, y'all.